Hello, listeners. Welcome back to Cheer the British Way. Now, I have very exciting news because this is now going to be a podcast hosted by two people, not just one. Ant enjoyed it so much last time that he is now joining me permanently as my co-host. Welcome, Anthony.
Yay.
Yay.
I'm back. I'm officially here after
many
rounds of intense negotiations with my agent.
Many interviews.
And many interviews.
Many interviews.
It turns out I'm the only person who was willing to do it.
Lies. We just had so much fun.
I know.
For those of you
have a great time.
who haven't already realised, we go back a very, very, very long way. We have a good, solid 23-year shared history.
Yeah.
So we have plenty to talk about. In fact, we don't ever stop talking. So it's
Not
quite
really.
the perfect partnership, really, isn't it?
Exactly. And in this episode, we are going to explore the pathways and opportunities within cheerleading for those wishing to make it, like we have, a career, or at least a job. There are lots of different things that we're going to look at, from coaching, choreography, judging, and all the other different opportunities that cheer might present to somebody who wants to make money out of it.
Absolutely. We're going to discuss how cheer can extend beyond just a hobby and turn into a lifelong career. And also prove that this is, you know, for us, exactly what our experiences of cheer has turned into, as well as for many other people. And it has indeed become our career.
It has. We talk a lot about back in the day, but yeah, we both went into this, like most people do, as a passionate enthusiast. It was our hobby and had dreams of making it something that would support us and would be our full-time job, and we've successfully done that.
We have. And I don't think that was actually our intention at all at the beginning, was it?
Well, it wasn't really something that was on the radar.
No, when we started Unity, it was just to have continuous fun.
Yeah. It was not really, I think, a possibility when we first started out. We're not, I don't know, maybe Angela was the only person who had a full-time cheer job that wasn't perhaps running an event company or something at that stage.
Yeah, because I think at the time it felt like that was the only sort of pathway to do that.
I don't know, for me, I finished uni, have 4 years worth of studying chemistry that I've put to great use over the years.
I was about to say.
It's been incredibly valuable to my career, but, well, it wasn't. I always say I discovered cheer at uni, so that was the benefit in itself.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I came out of uni not really convinced of what I wanted to do, didn't want to follow that pathway, and actually all I really wanted to do was stuff to do with cheerleading. I had to kind of make that happen. I think you sort of followed that footstep, maybe a few years after doing some career things.
I did a drama degree, so
well, that makes sense.
It's actually been incredibly helpful. And I actually also discovered cheerleading at university, but I wanted to be a TV presenter. And I was actually doing some...
Well, I mean, you're close now.
Well, this is it, right? Like, all my dreams have come true. I know. I actually did quite a few bits at uni, and I did work experience with the BBC, and I came out of it, and I was like, right, this is what I want to do. I'm going to put together a show reel. But obviously, I didn't have any money. So I ended up getting a job working in public relations, and I did that for quite a few years. And when we started Unity, that is what I was doing. Although I don't know if I actually did much work, because I spoke to you for about 5 out of the 8-hour day.
Yeah, I don't know how much attention your clients or whatever
not
got
much.
at that point.
Not much. Didn't do very well. But I actually did do quite well, and it actually has given me so many skills that I put into cheerleading, and I think the skills that I learned working in PR helped me become a great speaker and build the business. And I've done a lot of speaking at conferences, and you know, I'm quite a confident speaker. But I definitely gained that through PR. So I think having had a career before cheer has really benefited me. But we're now looking at a space where some people are coming out of education and they're going straight into cheer, and it is the only career they are likely to have.
So let's look then at some of the possibilities of way that you can build a career, or part-time, full-time, and there are various different things out there. Whether you want to make it a full-time career or you're just looking to make it a side hustle kind of thing. There are a lot of things out there. So as an athlete, well, I mean, there is now a professional athlete side to the sport that is very brand new, and I have no idea how that works. But
I know
maybe
that there's a team called Miami Metal,
the Atlanta Air, Dallas. Okay. I don't know, Cows? What do they have in Dallas? Something. We should know this. But no, there are now it's just in its infancy.
Producer Danny, could you look that up and tell us the names of the pro cheerleading teams? Because that would be good to know.
So there may be, perhaps in the future, there are opportunities for athletes to actually go professional.
Yeah, which is amazing. And
That
right
is
now,
brand
that is
new.
a pathway, just a caveat, that's only happening in the US right now.
Yes. But beyond that, what we have over here, obviously coaching, owning, running a gym, judging,
Yeah.
make money judging, choreographers, people that do camps, and then on the event production side, and of course all the supporting things around. There are a lot of apparel companies,
Yeah.
equipment companies, all of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of different pathways that people can look at, and we're
Probably
gonna
a lot more than
discuss
people
some of those.
realise, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think people tend to think, oh, I want to make cheer my full-time career, and that's coaching.
Yeah.
Or I want to start a program and run that. And there are a lot of
And
other
that
things.
means renting a unit immediately. And
Everything that goes
Yeah.
with that. And yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing. There are lots to it. If we talk about, because coaching is kind of the obvious one, and that, I guess that's sort of the career path that we both wanted to chase initially. Like that was what we
That was
wanted
the
to do.
passion.
Teach
Yeah.
cheerleading.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really was the thing. I don't know if we didn't, I don't think went into it thinking, oh, I want to build a program and run a program, because that wasn't a thing in the same way then.
Programs, the way that they exist now, didn't exist like that
As businesses.
over 20 years ago as businesses. And I think you're right. We both were passionate about the sport. We loved coaching, and we just wanted to cheer. And at the time, we were both athletes as well as coaches.
Yeah. And in your case, your path to do that was starting, as we've discussed on some other episodes, starting with those school clubs and after school clubs, before school clubs, lunchtime clubs, whenever you could fit a club in. Whereas for me, it was moving to the US where I could coach and get paid for it.
Yeah.
We took those different routes to it. And now we're in an era in cheerleading where it is possible for an athlete who is passionate, who wants to pursue a career in coaching, to make a career in coaching in the UK, rather than needing to move to a different country to do it. How many do you have full-time paid coaches?
We have several coaches who work pretty much full-time. They all have other sidelines, to be fair, other than Jay, who we've just employed full-time. You know, we have coaches that, for example, Charlotte, who's been with us since she was 16. She's our tumble director and all-star coordinator. She also does go and do camps and clinics with other gyms across the UK. We have Saskia, who is actually a High Rocks Pro Women's Doubles champion, and does that on the side, and she's PT. You know, so we have but they are, for the most part, coaching is their full-time job, and the other bits are the side hustle.
Yeah.
Whereas it was the other way round. It was, you know, you'd have a full-time job and then you'd rock up and coach in the evening, and I think that's definitely starting to change.
I think that's the common thing the state we're at, in order for us to create those kind of opportunities for people, that has to exist, because there are only so many coaching hours available. There's only so many coaching hours you can do. If you've got 4 to 5 hours a night where you've got teams in the gym, and you can probably only coach that many hours.
Without having them burn out, because I feel like one of the things that we have to be really aware of is
it's very intense.
Is it's so intense and it's very stressful, especially in the middle of comp season. And, you know, whereas, you know, coaches used to coach like 8, 9, 10 teams. Like, that's just not feasible. We have a rule now, blanket rule, max 5 teams for a coach. I only coach 2. I know that's the same for you.
Mm-hmm.
But for our coaches who are more predominantly still in a coaching role and don't have those sort of business and admin responsibilities, 5 is still the max.
And there are definitely coaches who just coach and probably supplement that with private lessons, classes, things like that, rather than just coaching teams, that maybe gets them to just about to a full-time level.
Yeah. Do we have an update on the pro names? Oh, good.
We have Miami Metal, Dallas Drive, Golden State Grit, and Atlanta Air.
So Atlanta Air, Golden State Grit,
Dallas Drive,
Miami Metal, and Dallas Drive, the pro teams in the US.
Okay. If you go try out for them. Try it till last week, so I don't know. But
so try it for them next year.
Try it for them next year, but maybe that will grow. Eventually, there'll be
It'll be interesting
franchise.
actually to follow the journey of that and see how that develops.
There'll be the London Leprechauns.
Sounds
I don't know. That's a terrible name.
Probably it's probably not the one.
Kings
Lions,
and Queens.
London Lions.
Something like that.
Yeah, we'll come across that. So let's talk a little bit about both of our different journeys as to how we turned cheerleading into a career. So starting with you, so we started Unity. I was working in PR, you were working.
Or I was temping,
That was it, temping.
doing database management, something that I was
lovely.
not particularly interested in.
No.
But, it paid the rent. And yeah, I was just very distracted, really did not know what I wanted to do in my life other than being obsessed with cheerleading at the time and was coaching.
We would talk
Unpaid
about it
coaching.
for hours and out. What were we even talking about?
I have no idea.
Routine plans. I don't even know what we discussed. All I know is that we could fill a 5-hour conversation easily each day. And I would be talking to Ant on my office phone, like in the office. Why was no one like, you're not doing your job? No one noticed. Oh, it's brilliant. We were just so excited.
You were obviously so efficient that you'd gotten everything done by midday when I'd woke up.
I just think we were so excited about this incredible new sport. And you're right, All-Star was taking off. We had this team. We were so passionate. And it was just everything, wasn't it?
And definitely for me, there was no opportunity to work in cheer full time. I worked for Future Cheer. I was doing bits of staffing things and helping out here and there, but it certainly wasn't anything approaching full time.
No.
And so I first got the opportunity to go and work at Worlds in 2006 or seven.
Was it the year that I competed?
Possibly.
I did a standing back handspring to one knee.
So it was actually
to open the routine.
Yeah, I think they put the option out to member companies if they wanted to nominate staff, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Hadn't been to Wales before, so my first time at Wales was working. I did crowd control in the Milk House, now Field House or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Changed the name all
Field
the time.
House.
Yeah, that was fun. So basically, just got to sit in front, watch the routines, and occasionally shout at people that were going the wrong way.
Yeah, what a great job.
Yeah, that was a pretty cushy gig. But through doing that, I then met some other people that I was working with and got talking to them and said, it would be a dream to come out here and work in cheer, but that's not a thing. And I literally remember one of the girls just going, well, why not? And it was a weird light bulb moment because I was like, oh yeah, I suppose there isn't actually anything stopping me. And then from there, she actually connected me with somebody who had a job opportunity, which we talked about. And then that didn't really work out, but that passed me on to somebody else then because they'd seen my CV and, do you mind if I pass it on to my friend? And then, that came up, had a conversation, flew out, and, the rest is sort of history.
Wow.
Ended up being assistant director of a gym out there. So got to learn a ton on the business side. Yeah.
The gym.
And was coaching a lot. And it was really important to me at that point that I wasn't just coaching. I wanted to do more. And that was great and got that experience. And then, on and on from there. And sort of meanwhile, that was all going on because I was out there for 10 years doing various things while that was all happening.
Long?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
You were back here.
I was.
Changing directions, doing something different.
Yeah.
And the whole business evolving.
Yeah. Which was like, never really was the grand plan. Obviously loved the sport, wanted desperately to get to Worlds, did that and thought actually, I started the bigger program in September 2009, which was with Rose and Pearl, Junior 1, Junior 2, and it was that following April that we went to Worlds. So we hadn't even been to our first Worlds yet, but I just knew I wanted to do this, and I'd actually given up my job in public relations, and I had started teaching in schools, like I said, and it was a lot of driving. It was quite lonely. I remember thinking, I'm really not sure I've done the right thing here, like leaving an actual career to teach cheerleading. I remember my husband being like, what on earth are you doing? But my mum was really instrumental in helping me make that decision because she was really unwell at the time and she died from motor neurone disease in 2014. And she was the one saying to me, like, life's too short, you're not happy, you love cheerleading, go do it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You go back to PR. Mm-hmm. And I was like, absolutely, go. All right then. And actually teaching in schools is where you kind of learn your craft because you're thrown into an environment where kids might actually not want to be there, unlike when you're running a club outside of school and you're learning to put routines together. And we were doing assemblies and we were doing a schools comp, and I started a schools comp in the local area. And that was how I got those first kids into Unity, between that and a bit of leafleting on the local high street. And that first year was really tough and we worked for free.
I think there's a really interesting point in there as well, because and I always say the same, and I feel like we would both really advocate it in taking a suitable risk.
Absolutely.
Because for you, it was all of those questions that you've just said, like being willing to give up a lucrative career and pursue a dream. And for me, I look back and I literally got on a plane to go for a month to work for this
And then
lady I'd
came
had
back a
one
decade
conversation
later.
with, and just being brave enough to go, yeah, sorry, temp job, I'm going away for a month. If
Yeah.
that doesn't work, I won't be back. I mean, fortunately, they did take me back when I came back. But yeah, being brave enough to take those risks was really, really important. The same, like being brave enough to take the opportunity to go and work at Worlds in the first place.
Yeah.
All of those things, you've got to be willing to put yourself out there to be able to do it. It's something I talk to young people about all the time in terms of finding that.
Yeah, different paths, same final destination.
Yeah. And we
I
both
think-
end up running programs.
Yeah.
Which, let's talk about that as a career.
So
Would you recommend it?
Ooh. That's a tough question, I think, because it is hard. And I think it's very easy to glamorize owning a gym if you love the sport and it's something you want to do as a job. Like, I'm sure people look at me running Unity and think, that is just wonderful. How much fun is that? I mean, it has been really hard. To build a business of this size didn't happen overnight. Like, I've obviously touched on it before, but it's our 20th year this year. 20 years of half my life. I'm 42 now, has been spent building this business. And it has been up and down and round, and it has been fantastic and hard and wonderful and amazing and difficult and exhausting all at the same time. And in the midst of that, I've got married and I've had 3 children. I lost both my parents. Like, it's been a journey. But I'm so proud of what we've achieved and what we've built. And obviously it wasn't just me. It's my co-owner, Amanda, and Dave and Chin, who I've sort of basically developed the business with. And now we have a new sort of like leadership team who are doing amazing things. And it's taken such a long time to get to the point where we're this successful. And I think it's very, very easy for people to look at the gym and a gym of this size and go, well, you're so lucky you have access to all this because you have all these world's teams. But that has come as the result of grit and hard work and a lot of determination and a lot of failure as well. And, you know, we've learned on the job, you know, we're not in a position where we were lucky enough to have the access that is available now, and we will talk about that in a minute, to the resources, the courses, the online opportunities, to Instagram, to YouTube, that is available now. That, like, none of that existed. We literally learned as we went, and we had to make those mistakes and learn from them. You know, obviously it was slightly different from you because you went into a much more established industry. So what was that like having, because you were, the first couple of years you were coming back and forth and you were coming back to, like, you know, random cheer comp that we were doing and then going sort of to NCA nationals.
Yeah.
You know, what was that like?
I mean, I was blagging it. for the,
Imposter
for the-
syndrome.
yeah, absolutely. I was, because I can remember my first day walking in the gym at Spirit, in Connecticut, where I first moved out to. And I walked in, went into practice, and, you know, was sort of just getting to know people. And Jason, who was the tumbling coach, went, do you mind going and working with these 2 kids on their standing tucks? And I'm like, I just, like, learned this myself like a week ago. I had, like, no way at that point an experienced tumble coach. Just like, sure, yeah, because, you know, wasn't going to let anybody know that I wasn't
Absolutely.
confident at that point. But yeah, I'm lucky, I think, in that Rubin, who I went to work for and is still a great friend and mentor now, just saw something and believed in me and was willing to just take a chance on some random guy from England. Like, she's the real hero of this story, because why on earth she thought that was a good idea, I have no idea.
She obviously saw greatness in you.
She saw greatness in me from an early stage. And yeah, sort of, you know, she was a great mentor on that front in terms of learning the business side of things as well, like going into that role, particularly with that size of gym. And it was a medium-sized gym, you know, 200-300 kids.
Yeah.
In a very competitive area. The Northeast is tough in the US in a lot of different ways. So to go into that and, yeah, just figured it out on the job, because it was working in an environment that we didn't have an equivalent of.
No.
There was no,
Definitely
it's not
not
like
at that
I'd come
time.
from a similar sort of gym over here. There wasn't
Yeah.
a gym over here. It would
No.
come from what was our team at the time,
The
training.
squash courts at
yeah.
Birmingham
I
University.
think, yeah, we'd sort of just gone into year 2. We had a slightly more permanent home at the ICC gym in Milton Keynes. So yeah, to going into that and having to just get up to speed real fast and learn that and all this stuff that I sort of only heard about.
Yeah.
And I guess they must have had great patience with me and everything else. And going in to a point with a lot of experienced US coaches that were then subordinate to me, and very lucky to have had a great staff that were on. Well, once I took a little while, but once you cracked them, and they're again like most of them lifelong friends now. Some of my best friends in the world that I still have a great relationship with.
I mean, when I think back to the experiences that we both have had in this sport over the past 2 decades, I actually do feel incredibly privileged to have been able to grow up in this industry in a time where everyone was learning. So although now, as coaches coming into the sport now, like I said, great resources, loads of mentors available.
Yeah, we're able to give people a structure to
absolutely.
work within in a similar way, I suppose, than I received by going that route. I was able to
I
plug
definitely
into
didn't
something.
have that.
You
And
had
I
to
just
create
learned
it.
as I went. But we had a great time. Like, there was some really tough moments, but my memories of those early days, the early worlds, the early comps, the staying away, like the friends that we made, I just, it's just priceless. And, there's still just everyone now, like people are still in touch. Original like Unity athletes that were on the team back in 2005, friends from uni. Some of my best friends I was on Birmingham Pussycats with. We still go on holiday together every year. Like it's been the foundation of my entire life, this sport.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I could ever put into words how much it has meant to me to have had all the experiences and memories that I have.
And at the same time, like, I joke with you when we talked about it with running a gym. It's love my job.
Yeah,
you love your job, but it is the best and worst thing in your life.
It is. It's hard.
And anytime you talk to other gym owners, directors, people
it's not being able to get away from it.
Yeah.
Like, I think for both of us, our gyms are open 7 days a week. It didn't used to be like that, but now it is. And it is. It's a 24/7, 365-day a year.
I had
Actually,
a conversation.
Maybe Christmas Day, everyone has a day off.
I had a conversation recently with a coach who has a full-time job, has a program. Is at that point, so I would love to be able to make this my full-time job and do this. And it's probably the first time with somebody that not a coach I knew particularly well, and said, "Are you sure though?"
Yeah.
Because have you thought about the pros and cons?
Yeah.
Because it is tough. It does. You have to wear so many hats, and there are very few. It's not 9 to 5.
No,
which is what we always talk
no.
about. It's 9 till 9 again.
Yeah.
9 till the same 9, not the one that comes after. And it doesn't stop. You need to make it stop. You have to set your boundaries very well.
You do.
But
you have to love it enough.
And I think
to be able to give it.
Yeah, most people
everything.
want that control of having. How many programs do you see that have sprung out of another program because somebody wanted creative control and freedom, and that's great.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people do want that. Not everyone does. A lot of people would rather work for somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, people definitely glamorize the kind of, I want to have my own gym. I want it to be my gym.
But you got to know what you're
do
getting
all
into.
these things because it is incredibly difficult.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Let's talk about some of the other professional avenues, so we don't sit on coaching.
So, well, obviously, one of the big ones, and I think that quite a lot of people have started as competition providers.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your big, your sort of big established EPs, but there are a lot of smaller competition.
The last couple of years, it's been a bit of a boom.
Yeah, popping up, and that's a great way to make your mark in the industry, to make money. You hire a venue, you put on a competition, you sell tickets, and
I think it's attractive thing to a lot of people. I would say probably a difficult thing to start with. You've got to have some startup,
for
capital
sure.
and support to do that. You've got to love logistics from that side of it. I feel like a lot of event producers, event production companies are multiple people setups because there's a whole big logistics side to it, and then there is a sort of creative and production side to it.
Yeah. And it also requires great customer service.
Yeah.
And as a lot of the EPs will often tell you, you have to be pretty thick-skinned because For every person that's happy, there's 2 people that aren't.
And industry knowledge as well now,
Yeah.
the level of technicality and the pressure to get scoring and those
Oh,
kind of things
scoring.
right.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like back in the day everyone was happy if you just could provide a floor and a backdrop and play some music.
We were always happy to put out the floor ourselves if we got a little run out on it.
You know, there's a lot to get done there for sure. There's a lot to get right.
And especially, like you say, with scoring, which brings us obviously on to judging.
Should we not touch scoring? We won't touch that
Well,
one
we
for a
won't talk about scoring itself, but in
That's
terms
about
of
6
judging,
episode special, that one.
I used to judge, you used to judge. I don't know if you still judge.
Yeah, I still judge a little
I
bit.
don't judge anymore, mainly because I've got kids and I did at the time, but
I love judging
you know-
because it makes me a better coach.
Yeah,
apart from
I
anything.
would agree. And
Something
I
I
think-
recommend to coaches, like
Oh,
go sit the other
absolutely.
side of the table.
and quite a few of my coaches still judge, but I would also say that there are, especially in the US, there's career judges.
Yeah,
just
and I
judge-
was trying to think about that when I was doing some research and stuff. I think there definitely are some. It's still because you could probably work, I don't know, 20 to 30 weekends a
Every
year
year.
judging. So you probably could make it a full time. Not over
Yeah.
here, I think, yet at that level. But if
No.
you're able to break into that and work between, there are UK based judges who work in the US.
Yep.
Like I know people that will go out for the season for extended amounts of time and do that kind of thing. So that's certainly, there is obviously an industry crying out for good judges.
Yeah.
I think it's so competitive. There are so many events now just in the UK.
Well, I
that
think what's
there's a
difficult is
need
that
for
in our
judges.
country, a lot of our judges are still coaches.
Yeah. And that's
So-
the same in the US. There's
So they're
always been the
judging, but they're
difficulty.
coaching their own programs. Then when they're at competitions, they can't then judge. And there's definitely a shortage of judges in this country.
Yeah, and I think all the EPs would no doubt join us in putting out a call for more people to help them with judging.
Yeah. If you're interested in judging, guys, get in touch with your local EP.
Get out there. Yeah, and that is
Take
the way
a
to do
course.
it. Yeah, you can. There is increasing judging education. Most of the EPs now do have judging, internal judges education. The ISF has just
Yeah.
launched some.
And I think, as you
judging
say,
education.
even if you're not interested in judging, a judge's course will just highly benefit you as a coach and your understanding of the score sheet.
I think it's a thing as well that people frequently hear people say, "I'd love to judge, but I don't know how to get into it." And I do think that in terms of breaking into it, it is contact the EP and say, I'm
Yeah.
interested in judging. I just did recently for some of my younger coaches go, hey, I've got some coaches who would be great judges. They're interested in doing it. Do you want me to, can I put their names forward? And usually EPs will, depending on your experience level, probably have you come in and shadow an event so you can see how
Yeah.
it works. Because there is a process to learn.
Yeah.
It's not just knowing the score sheet and
Yeah.
watching cheerleading and telling people what you think of it. There's a whole process to how judging works now. It's quite technical.
Yeah.
And you've got to be able to write fast and remember what you're seeing and script routines and track scores and get comparative scoring right
Yeah.
if you're on a comparative sheet, and you've got to know the rubric and the rules and everything
and,
else.
And the different score sheet for every event.
Different score sheet for every event.
That's another
Sub-episode.
episode for sure.
Pin that over here. But yeah, it is a whole thing to do, and it does take time to get confident at. You know, I think perhaps when we, back in the day, warning everyone, sound the siren. Back when we first did judging, it was very much like, you know, cheerleading, come and fill in this form and give them the score out of 10. And we
Yeah.
probably got minimal work, and it was good enough at
Yeah.
that point. It wouldn't cut it now. You know, there is a whole lot of learning.
But our expectation as an industry is so much
Yes.
higher. We're all much more educated.
Because Lord knows
And
we're going to
because
be at
we're
that
in this
score check desk.
as careers, because this is our businesses now.
Yep.
We're more invested. There's a lot more at stake, and it becomes much more important.
So beyond that, other potential avenues, camps and choreography, something very close to my heart. A lot of people would love to be out there doing choreography.
But I think there is still like a real requirement for that in this country. You know, to
I think
get
camps have really gone out of fashion. I
Yeah.
don't think people have as many, because when I first came back from the US to work at UNT, one of my side hustle, if you
Was
like,
camps.
was camps.
Yeah.
I was building a camps and choreography business that then eventually sort of evolved into my own camps and choreography business when I moved away from that. And that was my full-time supporting job for
yeah,
4 years.
Yeah.
It was just camps and choreography. So that's something that for the right person absolutely can be lucrative and you can build, and there is a huge need for it. There's growing numbers of teams
I think
that
for,
use
for
outside
those who
choreography now.
do choreo and clinics, clean-up clinics, specialty tumble clinics,
Techniques.
there's
and
actually
technique.
there's not enough people out there
Yeah.
working for the amount of requirement.
And
Essentially.
again, if you're so valuable, if you're a coach, if if you're building a coaching career and you need that second income or whatever it is, going out and working with other teams, seeing other programs. I think we touched on it perhaps in episode 1. Most cheer coaches never get outside their own gym.
Yeah.
They only have one influence, and it's so valuable to go and see how other people train, what they're doing, work with. And I frequently, if nothing else, I'll go and work with the team. I'll be sick to death of my athletes by the end of the week because they've been a pain. I'll go and work with the team and then come back. I'll be absolutely thrilled to see mine again.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different. And not sometimes it's the complete opposite.
But
Why
I think
can't
you're
have
right.
kids
Like the
you?
more exposure you have to different teams, different styles, different ways of working,
It broadens your
the
horizons.
better. And I think, you know, for anyone, I remember speaking at a conference. It was the spring conference in Montreal. It was a few years ago now. And someone saying that their gym owner didn't want them going out to conferences because they might not like the techniques they were bringing back. Now, I feel the exact opposite of that. I think that coaches having exposure to different techniques, different opinions, different voices is hugely important because that's the only way we grow. If we're at a point where we think we have learned everything there is to learn, then we should step away from the sport.
Absolutely.
I think if we're not prepared to learn and evolve and change technique, then we're never going to be as good as we can be. And that's the way that, you know, at my gym, we really have over the past decade become so strong is because we have all been so open to learning and making changes. And we make changes in terms of our tech and how we're doing things all through the season, right up until we go to Worlds.
Yep.
You know, and I think you have to be...
If you want to be a good teacher, you've got to start by being a good student or a good learner.
Absolutely. You're
and
never,
yeah, too
you're
many
never done
people,
learning.
They get locked into what they're used to, those habits and everything else. And it's a sport that's constantly evolving. It's
Yeah.
fast moving.
Oh, it really
so to
is.
stay up with the cutting edge of things is difficult. And then bringing different influences into the gym is something I actively engage in. I want to bring in different people every year.
Absolutely. I mean, staying on top of the changes in this sport is basically a full-time job.
Pretty much.
Like it is so... There is so many changes each year to the rules, to the scoring, to the way things are being done. You know, you need to be on it. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind. You're going to
Absolutely.
be dragging your heels. So from a coach's perspective, so I'm going to talk about the sort of challenges and qualifications of, you know, sort of being a coach. And obviously that's how we both got into the sport. I was not I didn't work in business. I wasn't like a business manager. I was a coach. And everything else that I've learned to do, I've learned on the job as we went. I think what was a benefit for me, it was that I was really ambitious. I was really passionate. And I really wanted to be the first to do things. And that's what kind of spurred me on. So, you know, I wanted to make sure we were always, you know, one step ahead and always like leading the trends. And I think that sort of has helped us really make our mark. But at the heart of it all, I love coaching. And I always want to be involved in coaching in some capacity. So one of the things that I've sort of been looking into is the options for coaches. So at our gym, we run a really comprehensive junior coaches scheme for athletes that are in year 10 and up. And that is literally the way that all of our coaches have come through to our coaching staff, I'd say for the most part. There are a few that we've taken that haven't come through that. And it's tended to be not overly successful. But
And you hear that a lot. I hear that from a lot of gym owners that would, and I do hear the opposite as well with people who have found it useful. Perhaps people who've only ever had that with their own athletes coming through to become coaches. Then when they have brought in some extra people, it's been important to have that outside influence as well.
Don't get me wrong. We've had a few that has been incredible. But I'd say for the most part, almost all of our coaches have come through our junior coaches scheme. And I think you can spot a strong coach a mile off. I always say, like, just some kids just have it. You know, they have that spark. They have that the voice that will project the passion. They're not afraid to get up and speak, even if they might say the wrong thing.
It's communication.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, coaching is communication.
Yeah.
Like anybody can know or be taught what a stunt technique is, what an athlete is supposed to be doing. But if you can't communicate the correction to a group, to an athlete or whatever, it's no use.
No, absolutely.
You know, you can't coach from a textbook.
I mean, I've noted down some of the different courses that you can do if you're interested in getting into coaching. So Future Cheer, BGU, they do offer a junior coaches course as well, I think, which is for athletes aged 14 and up.
No direct association between those two, by the way. Separate entities.
Separate entities, sorry, building from the ground up. Then there's the BCQ course offered by BCA. UKCA offer a coaching qualification. Legacy offer the cheerlead initiative, which I think is up to level 2 only. That's like more of an entry level. ICC have the United Cheer credentials. ICU, the cheerleading and cheer performance coaches credentialing. And then Sport Cheer Scotland also offer coach education. So there are loads and loads of different options out there for coaches to take qualifications and get involved. And some are more hands-on than others. But of course, the best training that you will always get is on the ground in the gym teaching.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say to my younger coaches, like, volunteer as much as you can. Stay on for extra, observe. So we will give our junior coaches, you know, a team that they work with. But the best ones are the ones that say, am I okay to stay and observe this team? Or can I do this? Or can I come and help out a rec? And, you know, I've got actually some fantastic 16-year-old coaches coming through. And I just know they're going to be so great because they just have that spark. And then I have some coaches that are sort of 18, 19, and I'm saying to them, get out into schools. Go out there, hone your craft, go and teach in a school by yourself, away from all of the other coaches. Because I think sometimes in the quite established gyms, it can be quite scary to speak up when there's someone coaching next to you who's really experienced.
Yeah, it can be hard to find your own voice and your own space to express yourself on that front.
You know, so go out into the
and I think
into
a lot
the
of
world
the time,
and just teach cheerleading.
Yeah, for us as well as directors of a program, you're not going to put your 16-year-old coach as a head coach most of the time on the team. You're going to put them with an experienced person. So it is harder for them to find their space.
And that mentoring is really important, I think. And that's something that we really focus on, is trying to mentor these coaches. We've actually done loads of training this year. They've done tumble staff training. They've done stunt training. They've just done a safeguarding training with one of our coaches who's a social worker. We're trying to make sure that this year we really continue to invest in that next generation of coaches coming through, because I am hyper aware that these people might want to make this their career.
Yeah.
You know, so they have to be competent and confident and have great time management and be able to do an invoice and show up on time and plan a routine and do a count sheet and go out into a school and get there in a timely manner and speak to parents and communicate with other coaches and, you know, and have all of those skills that I do think the sport does teach them.
It is a tricky thing. And I remember talking to an old boss of mine and saying, after I had a particular incident or a particular experience with a coach, a negative one that she'd had, not me, and said, I think you just never need to hire somebody who hasn't had a real job. And it was that. And, you know, it was an athlete who'd only have been in cheer and only ever worked in cheer and then struggled to find that professionalism. And when you've worked in a different industry, I think you just get that appreciation for it. But now that is a thing. And we are going to see a lot of athletes that do only move straight into a cheerleading job. And it is part of our responsibility and theirs to learn and get that side of it. This isn't just the environment that you trained in, and you have a different set of boundaries. You have a different whole professionalism that needs to come with it now. You have to see the gym differently.
And actually, I think that's really important, because I think we have a responsibility as, whether you're a gym owner or you're just a program director and you rent the local church hall, like, we have a responsibility to make sure that we are providing a professional environment for these athletes. And that's something the last couple of years we've really noticed that shift. In terms of, you know, it's no longer just a fun place where we all come and hang out, we do some cheerleading. Like, there's boundaries. Yeah. Like, we've just taken on an HR company.
It's a hierarchy.
There is a hierarchy. We now do one-to-ones every 6 weeks with our staff. There has to be a better structure in place for these people that are making cheer their career, so that everyone understands their place and everyone understands where they're at, and that we maintain a level of professionalism in a place where it is difficult, because we are like a family. Mm-hmm. And you see these people, you live with these people, you grow up with these people. You know, some of these athletes are kids. I taught them as kids, and now they're coaches, and now they're, you know, peers, colleagues. You know, and it's an adjustment. So I think it's really important to make sure that structure and understanding and respect, you build that into the way that you run your gym.
Definitely.
Do you want to talk? We've spoken already about the judges' path, about how you can get into.
Yeah, definitely. That is a great avenue, and like we said, fully recommend that. Reach out to EPs and and express an interest in judging, and they will probably bite your hand off
Yeah,
to bring you
absolutely.
into the system.
So let's talk a bit more about the business side of sort of being a cheerleader. And there are a lot of people now in that position. Just going to give a shout out to our friend Rachel, who runs a fantastic
Lynch.
mentoring program called Cheerleader CEO, where she's focusing specifically on the business side of the industry and how to increase growth within your gym and how to run your gym in a professional way. And I think that's been something that's been really lacking in the industry. I think a lot of conferences are focused on, you know, stunt tech and tumble tech. And I actually have always spoken for years now. I've done loads of conferences. I've done the spring conference loads. I've done flight school. And I've always spoken about the business side of cheerleading, growth, development, budgeting, program management, the team mum system, all that kind of stuff. But I think what Rachel's doing now is really focusing on making that really accessible to people so they learn how to grow their business. And I just want to say, and I really stand by this, that there are enough children and cheerleaders out there in the world for everyone to have success. You know, like from one business owner to another, you know, I very much want your gym to succeed, as I'm sure you want mine to. You know, I've never been afraid to share the ideas of what we've done at Unity and how that can help other people see growth. And I think that running a cheer gym is very specialised and it is very difficult. And we're in a place in the industry where it's okay to talk about making money from the sport.
Yeah, and it's been fascinating to be a part of cheerleading CEO with Rachel over the last couple of years and be around that community and see how fast that's been picked up by so many people, because it's big now. There's a lot of people in that. And when we have meetings and calls and stuff, everybody's connected in a way because everybody was sort of fighting in the dark in their own little area before. And then you talk to other gym owners as perhaps we were a bit more privileged too by having some different contacts and doing quite a lot of networking through international stuff previously. Now a lot more people are having conversations and realizing we all have the same issues.
Yeah.
We face a lot of the same problems. Like, they're unique, but we cross over in so much stuff. And you can share ideas. Like you say, somebody will go, oh, I've just started this program. It's incredibly successful. And I'm like, yeah, okay, starting that next week. Like,
Yeah, there's no great secrets.
no. And I think
in business, like a great idea can be implemented by anyone in any gym and it can make you successful. We're actually going to have Rachel on in another episode soon where we're going to be talking much more specifically about the business of the sport.
And beyond the gym business as well, there's a whole, I feel like, emerging entrepreneurial side in terms of, like, I have athletes now who've started their own merchandise type brands.
Yeah.
And built that and go, or I'm going to make bows. Where there's a lot of that where people like, I'm passionate about the sport and actually I love the apparel side. They love all of that. How can I make that a thing? Whether it's design, whether it's actual manufacture, that kind of thing. There's so much room in a growing marketplace, really, a growing industry for those supporting businesses and companies and entrepreneurs to bring something to the table, whether it's directly at competitions as a vendor or, say, bow companies, music.
And
like
especially now with
we'd have a
social
lot of
media and the
domestic-based
reach that
music production at the
you can
moment.
get
Yeah.
through sharing your businesses, your brands, like there's just vast opportunity for people to grow businesses out of the sport. And I think many people are coming into this now in a very different place. They're not starting a cheerleading team back in 2005. You know, they're coming in with a business plan and saying, okay, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to get a unit. Here's my plan. Here's my 5-year plan. This is what I'm going to do. And I think that, you know, it has been a very different experience for us. And we've got to, I think, where we are quite successfully in a very different way. But it's going to be really interesting to see how the industry grows and develops now that being a business is not frowned upon. You know, it used to be it was outrageous that everyone wasn't voluntary and a not-for-profit and a charity. You know,
slammed for making money.
Oh my God! It's like, how dare you charge?
Accusing like companies of being exploitational because they weren't a charity or a non-profit.
When I first started talking, I'm pretty sure it was flight school. It was like 2015 or something. And it was really shocking that I was talking about how to make more money from your gym. They didn't know how to take that. But I've always stood by it. If you love something and you want to put your heart and soul into it, you can create a business from it, and you should never undersell your worth. You know, like it's okay to make money when you are working.
Yeah, and it's
Like, yes, we do a sport we love, but we're still working. Coaching is a job.
ultimately healthy for the sport as a whole, because if a coach can be professional and support themselves, they can devote more of their runtime to doing it, to improving themselves, and the standards improve and the quality improves as we make money. We're able to improve the facilities we have, the equipment, the quality of coaching we have, and provide more and more. And it's providing value.
Yeah.
And having a good, healthy economy within the sport is key.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that you can't ever take your gym to the next level if you're trying to run it on the side alongside a full-time job. It really does require sort of, it requires going full-time. It requires chasing a dream.
It's going to be tough.
And
like I say, I'm sure there's somebody who's still doing it and doing great.
oh, there absolutely is. I'm sure there's many people doing it and doing fantastically. Yeah. And do you know what? Well done, because I don't think I could have done it. But I think it does, to really go to that next level in terms of growth and size, and that I'm not correlating success to that. You could be running in a really, really large rec program, and there's some amazing rec programs around the country, but it does require that kind of that sacrifice.
Yeah, and
being
we should go and talk earning potential for coaches and whatever realm you want to go down, because that is, I know, it's something that Rachel would and does frequently bring up. Like, there is, like you say, nothing wrong with wanting, like in any job, to have financial freedom,
Absolutely.
to be able to make money. And it is something that's definitely tricky. I think we kind of touched on it already in terms of coaching.
Yeah.
And it's
cap.
misconstrued a lot, because there are only so many hours you can coach, and even people are always like, oh yeah, all these American coaches are professional. The vast majority of US cheer coaches are scraping through doing 20 privates a week to pay the bills.
I was about to say, our coaches really make their money from privates.
Private
and
lessons,
we have
doing extra
always
things.
Made sure that we offer that as much as possible, because that is what keeps your coaches around.
Yeah.
The opportunity to make more money. Privates, camps, like whatever we can put on in the gym, because no one wants to be doing this and not be able to afford to eat. I think we can really touch on that as well. As I said, we've got Rachel coming on episode soon, and I think we'll really talk about that side of working within the sport. And I just wanted to touch actually just on the importance of making sure you are properly prepared when you're coaching, and that you do have the right things in place.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're going to be a coach, you need to be qualified. Number one.
Yeah.
You need to have the appropriate insurance. You need to have a first aid qualification, a first aid in sport qualification.
DBS, safeguarding.
You need to have an enhanced DBS check. Yep. You need to do a safeguarding course. All of our staff now do a diversity, equality, and inclusion course, which I think is really important as well. I know that through Sport Cheer England, they offer some fantastic safeguarding courses. Joey, who's the director of Sport Cheer England.
Safeguarding becomes bigger and bigger by the day, and obviously so important to what we do.
That's vitally important. Yeah. And as a gym owner, there's also things you need to have in place. You need to have a child protection policy and anti-bullying policy. You need to make sure.
A lot of policies.
There's a lot of policies. You need to make sure that you're really, you're protecting yourself. Yeah. I think that's the most important thing. And then just one more thing I want to touch on, because I think we're running out of time, is the importance of networking and mentorship. Because I think we were both very privileged in the fact that we got access to a lot of incredible coaches. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about not having mentors, like you obviously did in the US, I didn't really, in terms of trying to build a gym and run a gym. I just very much was sort of like learning as I went.
That was me, wasn't it? Surely.
A little bit was, of course it was. But I think in terms of access to coaches, I was very fortunate to meet Lisa Acoyne, who's the owner of Spring Tumbling, at the very start of my journey. And she introduced me to some incredible coaches, and we've been going to Worlds for a long time. And I was really happy to network. I really put myself out there and met some amazing people that I now, over the years, have been able to reach out to and seek advice from and get into the gym. And, I think don't ever try and do it within your own bubble. Like, get out there, speak to people, learn from them, get involved. Like, can I send you a video? Can you give me some feedback? You know, never be afraid to do that, because that's how we improved. That's how we got better. And then think, you know, coaches conferences, get yourself to them. You know, Future Cheer do one, BCA do one, ICC do one. Like, get yourself to a coaches conference, meet some people, network, like find a sister team, put yourself out there and just, you know, connect to the industry as much as you possibly can, because everyone out there is going through some sort of shared experience, and everyone out there's got the same dreams and passions. And actually, you know, there's, like I said, there is space for everyone.
And it's those personal connections through networking. And I think it's a term that gets misconstrued a lot, because people think networking is quite an aggressive thing, getting out there and you know, shaking hands and putting yourself in front of people. I mean, that's not me at all. Like, I'm not an active networker at all, but I'm probably a very passive networker. I just go to things, and you meet people through things by asking questions and working with different people. And
I think in the past couple of years that you've really put yourself out there in terms of going to many things. Like, I think you've really put in the work, and you've gone to a lot of different conferences and events, because you're, you know, in a period of trying to learn as much as possible. I mean, I haven't done as much the last couple of years just because of the age of my kids, but my staff have been sort of, I've been sending my staff out as much as possible to just keep learning and bring that knowledge back.
And a lot of that has been about setting that culture and that expectation for my staff. That, okay, hey, I'm going to this conference, who's coming with me? Like, send that, like, this is what we should be doing, not you need to go to this.
And it's great shared experience, and it's good fun. It reminds you, I feel like going to conferences
it's
like that.
It's invigorating. Every time you come back,
you walk away and you're like, we used to go, I remember Amanda and I leaving the spring conference in Montreal, and it must have been like 2017, and we walked away and we were like, right, we need to go next level. Like this, like I remember leaving feeling so enthused and invigorated and like ready. I was like just fired up. And I think that was such a turning point for our gym, because I was just so excited to, just make a change and become great. And I feel like we really have done that. And then when I went back last year, I was a speaker last year, and I went knowing that I was in a place where I'd achieved every goal I'd ever set myself. And, you know, and it does take weekends like that and being with great coaches who have done brilliant things that, you know, that say, like, prove to you that anything's possible. No dream is too big.
We used to do, and I absolutely encourage people to do, because, I mean, granted, and I always have kind of an open door policy when I talk to people, like, if you want to come to my gym and watch.
Oh, we've always got people at our gym.
Yeah, as long as you're not scouting. Like, if you want to come and watch, go for it. But one thing we certainly did early on is we took ourselves out to the US and just went on gym tours. And went, can we come to your gym and just watch some practices and learn? And actually a lot of networking
we were all over
that
the
way.
place, weren't we?
Yeah, there were still people I see now. And they're like, remember when you came to, brought a random car full of English people to my gym in 2009 and just stood in the front and watched practice awkwardly?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I remember that clearly. We did that, you're right.
Driving around Alabama.
We would go everywhere and learn as much as we can. And anyone that, we have all sorts come to our gym. If someone emails me and they're like, I'm in there, I've come from somewhere, can I come and watch practice?
Absolutely.
Sure. I have nothing to hide and everything to share, to be honest.
All for it. Let's make new friends.
We have run out of time.
We're done. Better wrap it up. We are all about our hashtag, which is not just cheer. And today, very much, it's not just cheer. It can also be a career. And hopefully we've covered all of the things that are there and relevant on that.
Absolutely. Lots of tips, resources, courses. We talked about the communities you can join, you know, and please do reach out to us. hello@cheerthebritishway.co.uk. If you do have any questions or want any follow-up from the episode, we'll be happy to send on some helpful links and resources to you.
Send us your comments on anything we've talked about today. Do you have different thoughts? Is there anything you want us to talk about? Send them on into us. We'd love to hear from you.
Or other career questions. And a reminder to please like, subscribe and share to help us reach the incredible people within our cheer community. This is Ant and Tori signing off. See you guys soon.